All right, everyone. Speaking of spicing it up, that's exactly what Sam Smith is doing. We know he is a singer. If you don't know, he is a singer, yes. And he has recently come out. He is identifying as gender fluid. You know his music. There it is there. I'll let that play for a second. I'm going to get LGBTQ activist and blogger Randy on the phone right now. He has a blog out there called Randy Report. Where's my handheld going though? I need it for the shot. Oh, there goes batteries. Okay, well this is fun here. Okay, Randy, I'm gonna pop you up on FaceTime in just a second and we'll have this conversation while our camera is getting the batteries that they need. You are connecting now. Don't we love technology? Yeah. See, like here's Randy right here. Say hello. Hi, Randy. To Randy. So he's Good morning. He's based out of Las Vegas. While our camera operator is getting the batteries that he needs so that he can come up close and personal with you, can you talk to us about your blog and what it is that you cover so we have a better understanding before getting into this conversation?
Absolutely. TheRandyReport.com. I have been a blogger for about 7 years now, and I cover politics, pop culture, and entertainment news of interest to the LGBT community.
Nice. Okay, so you're familiar with this story with Sam Smith coming out. Is this shocking to you? Is this something that someone who's within the community and is blogging about the community, does this surprise you?
No, as a matter of fact, because even if you just go back a few years, by the time we had Bruce Jenner, who transitioned to Caitlyn Jenner, which brought the issue of transgenderism into the mainstream conversation.
Right.
I felt this was probably going to happen anytime soon because this is another part of the conversation.
Right. And what part of that conversation do you think needs to be out there in the public? So you're on camera now. We have an up-close personal shot of you, by the way. You look good, my friend.
You know, the important thing to note is just there are differences here. For instance, like sex, for instance, refers to anatomy. It refers to hormones, physical anatomy, chromosomes that can all be changed, as we've now found out. You can have sexual reassignment surgery. You can have hormonal treatment. For people who identify as transgender, because they don't identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. Gender fluidity or non-binary, which you can use either term, really refers to the fact of people who, this is about how people perceive themselves. And they, you know, let's take the word binary first of all, because we use the non-binary. Binary means you have a choice of two things. You're talking about a universe of two things. Sometimes in politics you say it's a binary choice, Democrats or Republicans. When it comes to gender fluidity or non-binary, what we're talking about is these people who identify as non-binary don't feel that they can check one box or the other. They feel a mix of masculine and feminine every day, and they don't want to be put into a box.
Got it. Okay, so for Sam Smith coming out as gender fluid or gender non-binary, he also comes out and says that I have an alter ego, and her name is Caramel, or Carmel with a K. And that she's actually sold millions of songs in the past because, in fact, when he was recording some of these songs, he was using her voice. Some of the other artists out there, I know someone on the panel, Cornelia, who you see over there, she has mentioned Prince in the past.
Yeah, Prince had an alter ego named Camille, and he attempted to release an album named Camille, but the label shut it down. But some songs that he came out with were in that vein of his alter ego. So this isn't a first.
This isn't a first. But for this next generation, why do you think this is so powerful for someone like Sam Smith to come out and identify as this, and then even go as far as saying, hey, I've recorded in another person's voice?
Well, you know what's really important is, first of all, because he is so popular with the younger audience right now, and young people don't have any issues with any of these conversations, which I find so refreshing when I'm around people who are in their teens, in their 20s, or even their 30s. People don't care, and that's really what matters. Whether someone identifies as transgender or non-binary, it's really none of our business. My recommendation when people have these conversations, it's important to have the conversation to understand what we're talking about.
Right.
But for instance, it's not really on us to like notice someone in public and go, hey, are you transgender? Hey, are you non-binary? It's really none of our business.
Right.
But perhaps a family member or a friend might come out to us and say, you know, I recently realized that I'm non-binary or I'm transgender. And when they open that conversation up, the best thing we can do is take that moment perhaps to say, well, then let me know so I can be respectful of you. How would you like me to refer to you? You know, often the smallest thing, like the pronouns you use in a conversation when you're in a group, instead of saying he or she, one of those insulting things that you see happen is when rigid-minded people hold on to using the wrong pronoun to speaking to someone who's transgender, and they're doing it often to like needle them or something. It's really rude. It's none of our business. And you know, one other thing I'll add is when we talk about this, another thing to know is gender identity, which is how we perceive ourselves. Another part of the equation, another part of the conversation is gender expression, which is a different thing. It's slightly different. Gender expression is how we present ourselves to the rest of the world. And so part of what Sam Smith was talking about is sometimes he said that he went a long period of time only owning women's clothing because that's what he was comfortable wearing. So there's gender expression, which is how you express yourself to the world, and gender identity, which is all in your brain. It's how you perceive yourself. Does that make sense?
It does to me, yeah. Some of our viewers, are they chiming in? Do they have questions? Because I know when you're talking about pronouns, people go, okay, gender fluidity, gender non-binary. You don't obviously call any human being it. Do you say he, she? Do you say they?
They, yes. They is becoming very popular, as a matter of fact. There are people, because a lot of this comes from, sometimes I've read about some people who consider themselves non-binary, and they say, you know, I don't consider myself specifically male or female. I relate to the roughness of being male, but the kindness of being female. And so for that person, they say, I'm non-binary.
Okay.
And that's how it affects them. And one other thing I'll mention is, this isn't new, just so people know.
Right.
This concept has been around for centuries. It's existed, for instance, in Native American tribes like the Navajo and the Mojave, and the indigenous people of Australia have all accepted and respected more than two genders for centuries.
For centuries. It's just now coming to fruition. You think for this next generation to say, hey, I'm comfortable with it in America in our own skin, and for celebrities to come out and make that next generation feel like they are accepted and okay. Do you have some comments?
So we have a lot of people who are not necessarily happy with the way the conversation's going, but I do want to read Kimberly Morgan's comment, who said, hey, I'm for all of what makes you happy and comfortable. I've never been one to judge. I will support you in however you want to classify yourself. But I do have a question for you, Randy. So for the people who say, you know, this is my belief. I believe that men should like women and women should like men, and there is no gender fluidity. There's no other way. What would you say to those people who don't quite understand the concept that for some people this is their reality and this is who they are, but for others they think, no, it's more about defining man likes woman, woman likes man.
Black and white like that.
Absolutely, and that's a binary choice. And here's one thing that I've always admitted when we have these conversations. I understand that there are people who have lived with a certain concept their entire life. It's the only thing they know. I don't demonize them for that. I'm not going to attack those people. I would like to ask them to consider opening up their mind a little bit, but I'm not going to criticize them. But I will say this: that's fine. If that's what you believe, I won't criticize you. However, don't put that belief into practice in such a way that it hurts someone else who feels that they're non-binary or transgender. Don't take your belief and affect someone with it. It's perfectly fine to have your belief system, to buy into the concept that you want to buy into. Just don't let it affect other people, because it's none of our business how somebody else perceives themselves, is it?
No. I mean, I can agree with that as someone who's an ally of the community. So we'll continue to have this conversation, and if people out there who can, you know, certainly appreciate where it is you're coming from, one more time, your blog?
TheRandyReport.com.
All right.
LGBT politics, pop culture, and entertainment.
Thank you, Randy. We'll be sure to come to you with any other expertise questions that we have.
Randy.
Have a good day in Vegas.
Have a great day. Vegas strong.
Vegas strong.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. Well, we just thought we had to get that out there, because the one question some of us had when seeing that story this morning is, wait, gender fluidity, can someone help us understand?
Right.
So that's all we're trying to do.
Maybe you don't agree with it, but at least we understand what it's about.
Someone from the community chiming in. So thank you, everyone, for chiming in with your comments. We will be sure to answer a lot of those questions and comments and concerns. We'll see you tomorrow.